Ankur just joined the program this year, fresh graduate from Northwestern University, Indian American, never lived in India, passionately wanted to do something for India, relocated to India, teaching in Pune. And then a very different profile, Shashank, worked in the Indian Air Force, then worked with Infosys, 8 years of work experience, doing really well, quit everything to become a teacher last year in Pune. This year he's moved to Delhi. Shashank this year has pushed himself to the next level, saying Teach for India still isn't working with the most vulnerable child. So he's actually now piloting a Teach for India model where he's teaching kids living on the streets. If you look at the distribution, it's roughly 50% recent college grads, 50% young professionals. But the amazing thing is, what we've done is we've taken what we thought was the least aspirational thing for a bright young Indian to do. If you go home tomorrow and say, Mom, Dad, I want to, after all my education, go and teach class 2 in a government school, in all likelihood they're going to think you're crazy. And we made it unbelievably difficult to get into the program. So our selectivity was between 7 and 10% because, again, what we were looking for was India's next generation of leaders. What is the fellowship experience? There are 4 pieces to it. The first piece, transform self. Our belief is that our fellows need to leave the program as strong as they can be as people. We need to stop talking about all the things wrong with our country, and we need to start asking, what will I do about it? The second aspect is transforming class, and I'm going to show you a few seconds of a clip of one kid in one of the Teach for India classrooms. This is Sanaya's kid. This class couldn't speak one word of English when Sanaya started teaching them. They were 4 years behind where they needed to be. And what you're going to see is after 8 months of her intervention with her kids.
That's our choice. We can do anything in life with the choice. Choice is the biggest help of us. We have to make choice to read. So we'll not read. That's our choice. Now did you say, if some people don't want to do homework, we will not agree. Did you 100 times they are telling, do homework, but they are not doing. That's their choice. They will not do homework. They will only not learn. The more you read, the more you know. That's our choice to make the choices.
We have tons of these clips on YouTube. You should watch them because they make me so incredibly happy when I see them. But I think the reason I chose this clip is to illustrate that our teachers don't come into classes to teach math and English and science. They go way beyond that. What they are charged with is taking kids who are on one life path. So if you remember from the movie, over 58% of kids will not graduate from class 5. They will not complete class 5. So taking kids on that grim life path and putting them on a fundamentally different life path, right? And that involves academics. So you saw the level of her English in 8 months and what she's been able to do. It involves her understanding where she needs to go in her life, her aspirations. It involves her investment. So to see a kid understanding what choice means and why I have choices, and if I don't do my homework, what does that mean for me? These are the things that our Teach for India fellows do in the classroom. They're really charged with bridging the gap. So when we go into our classrooms, our kids are 4 to 6 years behind, and we're telling them, if you're just doing a year's worth of progress in a year, the gap's just going to keep getting wider. How do you do a minimum of a year and a half? Some of our fellows have done in excess of 2.5 years worth of progress in 1 year. If you look here at one more example, this is the same little boy, Sohail, who is from Manu's classroom. On the left, when he entered, Manu in the first month asked him to write anything. Interestingly, he chooses to write about cat and rat. He calls it rad. And then 1 year later, the same child, not only, is there just a dramatic improvement in writing, but now he chooses to write about the day I will become a superhero. So you can see how his aspirations have changed, how his academics have changed, how he's getting himself onto a different life path. We don't stop at the classroom. We tell our fellows that the next step in the process is you need to transform your school. And we do a bunch of different projects, but this is one example that I love. So this is Tarun's classroom in Pune. The top is the same classroom as the bottom. Tarun went in, it had a tin roof. The fans weren't working properly, and it was really dull and boring, and he said, my kids need a better space to study. And so downstairs he raised the money, he went out, and the incredible thing is he's painted his entire investment plan on the walls. So if you see bottom left photograph, all the books, that's the number of books that his kids need to read in the year, and then tracked on the number of books. We have classrooms where kids could not read a sentence, where the teacher has said, your big goal is at the end of the year, you will read 200 books, and they have done it.